Hello, it's Tyler. I know that I've kind of taken a bit of a break from making these videos, but I haven't forgotten about the requests that people had for tutorials, and I'm going to slowly get to them. I've just kind of had a lot of things going on. I also have been working on some videos for groove3.com, so if you're interested in some tutorials on FL Studio and other DAWs and all kinds of other things too, you can go check out Groove3. But just since I'm working on that doesn't mean I'm not going to keep putting things up here. It's just another thing I might be a little busy with sometimes. But at any rate, this is a tutorial that people have been asking about for a while. And I don't think it's anything I can really get too deep into, but I can show a few little tips and tricks and whatnot. I was asked to cover some snares, big 80s disco snares, and I looked up a couple and came up with some stuff. Not sure I nailed everything completely perfectly, but it's something that'll give you an idea because there's a lot of ways you can do snares. It's just kind of... It can be as varied as making synths and stuff. It's just what it is. And of course, an easy way to find the snare you want is to just get a sample of a snare that you like and then just use that. Maybe you'd have to throw some reverb and things on there, compression maybe, but that's the easy way to do it. Cat just jumped on me. But yeah, so let's get moving. I used some samples that I got from another video on YouTube, just free. I'll put a link to that video in my description, and then in their description they have a link to some drums, just so I'm not like stealing their samples and giving them away or anything. And there's plenty of places that you can find drum samples, but this is just so that everybody's on the same page with what I'm doing exactly. So if we take a look here, I got, you know, a few samples from that pack. Yeah, here we go. I used the Lindrum samples. Those two. Just drug them in. I did a little bit of the pogo, and that just kind of ramps the pitch a little bit. And then I also pitched it up a little bit here. And on the other one, and so that makes it, instead of a little bit different. Then on this one, put a lot of the pogo. And then just layered them together. Oh, snare one. And then I selected them both. Oops. Selected them both and put them on this mixer track, which I did a little bit of EQing. I dropped out some of the bottom. And then added a reverb. And that reverb is going to be where a lot of the actual bigness comes into play. Just tweak your decay settings for how long that reverb's going to take. I cut out, you know, somewhere around, 1 to 500 of the low, just because it's not really necessary. I kind of narrowed it a little bit in the stereo separation, and the size is really going to change, like the pitch of your reverb, kind of. It's not, I don't know exactly what you call it, but it makes it just seem different. And so it doesn't just mean giant size is going to mean giant snare. It kind of does, but just play around with it and see where you want it. And all this stuff is going to shape your snare how you like it. And then I took from that and put a little sound goodizing on it. Which doesn't do a ton, and you don't want it to, because otherwise it starts compressing crazy. And yeah, and that's how I got this little section. I just used the kick from that pack also. Then I also made this other one. Snare 2, pretty much the same situation. Tweaks of little different parameters here and there, the wet and the early reflections, and just yada yada, different size, different all that, just tweaking it to ear every time you do it. And then another sound goodizer, and that is this one. little bit more mellow, but that reverb is what makes it sound big. And for this one also, there's not as much girth in the bottom. Like in this one, you can hear a lot of that low end. In this snare, there's not hardly any, so I put kicks on all 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. On this one, I only did it on 2, which a lot of the time, people just put them on 4 all the time for the 4 on the floor effect. But, yeah. And then here it is, I layered both of those snares together. I think you could probably change the volumes on that. It's a little loud, but yeah. And then on this one, I layered them all and then also put 4 kicks. So, that's a pretty big snare, I think. Sorry, my cat's screwing around with everything I'm doing. But just a simple little, tip or trick or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, get those samples if you want to make exactly these sounds, and you can make those. Yeah, whatever, go through. Yeah, so just something to look at. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want anything else, but hopefully this kind of covered the idea. Just remember, reverb is going to make anything big, and then a little compression, and you're usually pretty good. And just sample selection also, obviously going to make a difference. So yeah, as far as snares go, that's kind of the gist of it. I know there's a lot more you can figure out there, but for now, I guess this is as far as we really need to delve into it. Hopefully this covered something for you. We'll see. All right. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.